Biggest stage of club football returns, and you know what I'm talking about. The UEFA Champions League. And it is Matchday 8. That is the final game of the group stage, which means every game will be played at the same time. All 18 games will play concurrently. All right. Now, please do not miss. In fact, my advice is if there's a channel that's just going to be showing updates in terms of goals, results, I think if you really want to have the fun, I think that should be the channel you want to choose. All right. But outside of that, there is no problem for you to, of course, focus on your team. I think I'm going to focus on my team. But honestly, I might also have a channel on the side that I'll just be looking at goals and updates. Okay. Having said that, let us look at the 18 games really quick. Maybe not 18 games. We might not have time for that. But let's start. Let's see how fast we can go. Paris Saint-Germain will be home to Newcastle. We know Newcastle has been struggling domestically, but their Champions League form has been really, really impeccable. All right. Now, for PSG, they have not shown the form that we saw last season. But, hey, that is a good team, solid enough. And both teams are currently in the top 8. Whosoever wins, and depending on those teams that are currently seated in the playoffs, what's going to happen, then they obviously going to jump into that top 8. So this is a very, 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 very important game for both teams, PSG and Newcastle. Let's keep it moving real fast. Manchester City will be home to Galatasaray. Manchester City currently are in the playoffs as a seeded team, but Galatasaray is not an easy team, and Manchester City defense have shown a lot of cracks. Well, their new signing, Maggie, has started playing. Who knows, he's going to make them better, but do not underestimate Galatasaray and look out for a guy like Victor Osimhen. I like him so much. Liverpool will be home to Karabag FK. You all know I love Karabag FK, all right? But Liverpool, I don't see any reason why they will let this slide because they need to win to make sure they can have that direct qualification to finish in that top 8 against a team like Karabag FK. But hey, this is the Champions League. Surprises are always possible. And that is why I love the Champions League. Let's keep it moving. In Germany, Borussia Dortmund will be home to Inter Milan. Inter Milan has been looking really good in the Champions League and as well as the Serie A. Now, for Borussia Dortmund, I think they will have to win following that loss to Spurs. All right, Matchday 7. They will really have to win to just stay in that seeded position in the playoffs. FC Barcelona as well in the seeded position right now in the knockoff in the playoff stage, and they will be home to FC Copenhagen. Barcelona will score goals, of course, we know that, but can they stop FC Copenhagen? And if Copenhagen showed up with a pretty tight defense and Barcelona concede, who knows? Then there goes your surprise. Arsenal will be home to Kairat Almaty. Almaty have already been eliminated. Arsenal, of course, 7 out of 7. 100% record, 21 points. I don't know if they want to go for all 24 points. That would be cool, 8 out of 8. But Arsenal should win this one comfortably. And Bayer Leverkusen will host Villarreal. Villarreal also have been eliminated. For Leverkusen, there is a chance they might creep in. It's not going to be easy, but they will need a win if they want that chance to get into that unseeded playoff stage. Atletico Madrid versus Bodo Glimt. I also love Bodo Glimt. But hey, Atletico Madrid, we want to get the 3 points and make sure they also can get to that top 8. Because listen, you want to avoid a playoff match. Okay, if you're a big team, that was what happened between Real Madrid and Manchester City, and we eliminated Manchester City. So if you can avoid, all right, not being in that playoff, and especially not being seeded, I think it's try as best as possible to do just that. Real Madrid will be going to Benfica, of course. A wonderful reunion with our ex-coach, Jose Mourinho. That's going to be fun. Obviously, going to focus on that game. We have to win. Again, we have to get that direct qualification and just seal things. Because, now, the thing is this. Every one of these results will impact the other results. Okay, so Matchday 8 is really going to be interesting. Like I said, you have to monitor it, right? You don't want to miss it completely. Again in Germany, Eintracht Frankfurt will host Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs' form in the Champions League has been really, really good. I mean, they've been surprising, but domestically they have been bank average, just like Newcastle. But I don't think this should be a difficult game for Spurs. I mean, with the form that we have seen, they should be able to go to Germany and take care of business. All right, but This is the Champions League, so prizes are open. Club Brugge will be home to Olympique Marseille. Both teams are trying to get into that unseeded position. Who knows what's going to happen, but keep your eye out for that one as well. PSV Eindhoven will play Bayern Munich at home. PSV Eindhoven, they have a thing for the champions, okay? They defeated English champions Liverpool. They did the same with the Italian champions Napoli. So who knows? Now they are seeing, a German champion. So who knows what's going to happen? Ajax Olympiacos. Ajax have that chance. It's not going to be easy to get into that unseeded playoff. Things are going to be tight. Things are going to be tight. Even for Napoli. Right now, Napoli are in that elimination zone. They will be home to Chelsea. Chelsea will need to get that 3 points as well because Barcelona is looking in. All right. I think Chelsea's 8, Barcelona is 9. It's just goal difference. So, hey, yeah, this is the Champions League, and this is the reason why we love the Champions League. Monaco will be home to Juventus. There's not much here except to get into that playoff spot. Whether Juve might get into seeded depending on the other results, but Monaco might get into that unseeded spot. Union Saint-Gilloise will host Atalanta. Atalanta, they were really, they lost to Athletic Bilbao. That was a bad loss because a win could have at least, still have them in that top 8, but now things are really rough. They'll have to, again, this is Union Saint-Gilloise, no disrespect, but if you're Atalanta, you want to make sure you go there and take your business and then see what happens in the other games. Athletic Bilbao will be home to Sporting CP. Sporting CP is a good team. We saw what they did to Paris Saint-Germain, and it's not going to be easy for Athletic Bilbao, but they're home at the San Mamés. That is a difficult place to play, and they might be feeling good following that performance against Atalanta. So let's see what happens if they can creep in, to that unseeded knockout stage. The last game I have here is Pafos versus Slavia Praha. Slavia Praha is amongst the teams that have been eliminated already, right? Slavia Praha, Villarreal, Kairat Almaty. I don't know if Pafos. I think Pafos do have a chance if they get a win. Then again, depending on the outcome of the other games, but they might just creep into that unseeded knockout playoff stage. Now, that is all the 18 games. I know I didn't get into great details for some games. I will do perhaps tomorrow, Tuesday, right? January 27th, 2026. We will see what happens. But the Champions League returns with Matchday 8, final group stage game. And it is going to be interesting. The Champions League doesn't disappoint. Until then, y'all stay blessed and peace out. Catch you later.